Hi, I'm Greg Dell with Dell Disability Lawyers, here with attorney Stephen Jessup. And Stephen, in this video, I want to talk about the importance of understanding how your disability insurance company thinks. And getting into it, should a person who has a disability policy, and we're not going to get into the specific companies, but should they think that all disability insurance companies are going to handle their claim in the same manner?
They shouldn't think that. All insurance companies are the same in the sense that they make more money when they collect more premiums and they pay out. So, the overall theme is to not pay out, so you collect more money. But every insurance company is going to handle your application, claim administrations, everything completely different. There's similarities, there's overarching themes that are the same, but the nuances of each one are as different as, brothers and sisters and members of a family. They all have their own personality, if you will.
And so we've been doing this for a while, and there's probably, a lot of people don't realize, there's 40 plus disability insurance companies out there, but probably 10 of them that make up 90% of the industry. We've seen all of them. But when it comes to the disability insurance claims, when someone first calls you, whether they're looking to appeal or or they want to apply, or they're just like, I'm having issues with it, what does it come down to, first of all, that's the most important thing when you want to understand the disability insurance claim that they have? What's significant about the particular company that you want to know about first?
Yeah, that's usually my first question is, who's the carrier? Because you are going to know idea. If it's a denial, we're dealing with Hartford, I already kind of have an idea of what they've maybe done to deny the claim. If it's Lincoln, I ask them, do you know, is it Lincoln Life National or Lincoln Life Insurance Company of Boston? Because there's going to be differences on the appeal reviews. So, or if you get something from Guardian, then you want to know, is it a group ERISA disability or is it an individual disability claim? So you want to know who's the policy with and what type of policy it is, because that's going to give you an idea. And sometimes it's almost like I can probably tell people what happened to them without knowing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of lawyers out there who are Social Security disability lawyers, and the difference with and now you see these Social Security lawyers are trying to say, I do long-term disability, but Social Security is like dealing with one company. Mm-hmm. It's the same body of law. It's very specific, it's very high volume. I always say there's more than 3 million people that apply for Social Security. There's maybe 150,000 people a year that go for private disability. But it's funny when you say the first question is, I ask them who the company is. And I give people this analogy to say, you ever get together with an old friend and you start talking about teachers in school? And then you say, you remember Miss Smith? You remember Mr. Johnson? You remember whatever? And right away, you had an opinion about each and every teacher, and you knew that teacher inside out, how they were going to be. Or now that we're older, we'll talk about our kids are in school and they're going to this particular teacher, and everyone talks about, this teacher's like this and this teacher's like that, and we know how to do well or do badly. It's the same thing when you're super experienced with the disability insurance companies, and right away when someone calls you and they say they have Northwestern Mutual, or they call you and say, I have a Cigna denial, without you even looking at that denial letter, you basically already know, well, I know if it's Cigna, you probably have, if you're lucky, this 2-page denial letter that's a format that says this, this, and that, and they probably didn't even send the file out. They didn't have you looked at by a doctor, and they might have sent it to an outside doctor, but they probably didn't even use a doctor, they used their nurse. Whereas maybe if it's a Northwestern Mutual denial and you get that, send me your denial letter because it's probably 8 or 9 pages. It's probably pretty detailed. And I'm not saying they're right in their denial by any means, but it's not the same like, it's Cigna, of course they denied you. Or, it's Hartford, yeah, likely they denied you. So that's a really important thing, and it comes down to, but how do you think a client really benefits from that experience of you knowing about each and every disability company?
Because then you know how to prepare, rebuttals, responses, how to, file the claim, appeal a denial, what litigation may look with that company. So you can give them a real firm understanding of what to expect and what the reasonable outcomes may be and things like that. Because so often, with disability, it's a real rough time in anyone's life. You're medically unable to work. Your financial, security is based on an insurance company, and if they're denying you, these are very stressful times. And this is a very strange area of the law to begin with. So we've always, kind of held, and you've done it since the beginning with regards to videos, knowledge is power, to be able to inform and having that experience, be able to tell people, all right, this is what happened. All right, well, these are the steps we're going to do to counter this, and we're going to combat this. Or, even in situations where if someone comes to us and say the only thing they do is bring a lawsuit against Hartford, we can review denial letter, the appeals, and give them an understanding of what likelihood and success in court may be, what resolutions may look like, these various different things. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. And unlike going back onto Social Security, where yes, it's like one carrier, it's the government.
Right.
Well, it's very hard to get Social Security disability. It's harder standards, but if it comes to it, you get a day in court. You're going to be able to, testify in front of a judge, be asked questions, all these types of things. Where in this area of the law, especially on the employer-provided policy, which is the majority of policies out there, you don't get all these benefits that people think of. Oh, I'm going to sue them and I'll have my day in court type of stuff. So it's really important that the lawyer knows how each insurance company is going to work to maximize the best possible outcome for you.
Right. And a lot of our knowledge comes from, first of all, handling thousands of these claims, knowing every single day, because we continue to manage a claim, so we know when they change behaviors. Behaviors change because I was just telling you, like Guardian just got a new director of operations at their company. Complete shift from the way they used to handle claims. Much more intense claim handling now, higher scrutiny than there used to be. So the behaviors change. The other reason we know is we're in constant litigation with them. This is all we do. So all the time we're seeing how their employees are trained, and every company trains their employees differently. Things they're looking for, how they're going to handle the claim, the time frames in which how long they have to reply to certain things, when are they going to use in-house doctors, outside doctors, when are they going to do IMEs, FCEs, when are they going to request video surveillance, when are they going to go on your social media profile, when are they going to randomly call you, when are they going to send someone knock on your door to do an interview. Everybody has their nuances inside out. So the other thing about that is to understand, you said knowledge is power. And one of the things we do that no one else does is we've built this extensive website. And here we're doing this video kind of in a section where people have the opportunity to search our website and look up their company. And when they look up their company, they're going to see not only cases that we've resolved, and we have lots of articles and videos which people can hopefully relate to. Maybe it's their medical condition, maybe it was their occupation, maybe it's the same policy, but really starting to learn, how does my particular disability company behave? How do they act? And one of the best ways to figure that out is to, look at our videos, look at the reviews. And we encourage and we love when people leave reviews about their disability companies. That's not stuff we can make up. That's the real experiences that people are having. Ask questions specific about your disability company. How do they handle this type of medical condition? How do they handle the change in definition? How do they handle wanting claim work? I mean, all kinds of questions. We have lots of questions for each company. And then tips specific to that company where we've done. We try to constantly think about every single thing that will help people, educate them, because the idea is that the better educated they are, number one, hopefully it helps them get approved from the inception. Number two, helps them stay on claim. Number three, if they've been denied and they eventually come to us, it lets them know, how does the claimant now need to act and behave so that they can get themselves in the best position possible? Because a claimant who's sick on disability is not thinking about, they're thinking about getting better. And they're thinking all along, I paid my premiums, or my employer paid my premiums, why don't you just pay me? You didn't give me any issues when I wanted to get the policy, you should pay me. Why are you assuming I'm a liar? If I could work, I'd go back to work. But the claimants are not trained in understanding how a disability insurance company thinks and what exactly can I do or not do, on a moving forward basis. What if I put this on my claim form? What if I don't? There's so many mistakes and errors that can be made that it's always in a claimant's best interest to have this knowledge and power. Hopefully they always avoid a denial and don't need us, but if they do, they need to be aware that they have these, these great options moving forward. And then, just touching on this, the last thing is, why is it so important to understand the policy language and explain why it's different for every single disability company?
The policy language, in a lot of ways, it's a contract. Policy language is always going to govern how the claim is going to be administered. And there's some nuances, like, just as an example, I was reviewing a provision for a longtime client, and I was explaining to him what appropriate care means under a MetLife policy. And it has a laundry list of things that what appropriate care means, which is different than say how Unum writes what appropriate care of treatment with the doctor is. And because of that, MetLife could take one of these nuanced bullet points and deny a whole claim and say, well, you're not meeting this. Our policy, we've read it, these are the standards of it, so we're going to go by this. So understanding how each policy is written, how the definition of disability is defined, how your occupation, if it has a switch to any occupation, what does that mean, allows you to strategically set up your claim that all these little various road, bumps in the road that can come, you can just, glide over or avoid or whatever you need to do with it. So the policy language is king. People will tell me, well, my employer said this, and when the insurance company rep came to tell us about the policies, they said this, and I'm like, maybe they did, but the language is the language is the language. So having a firm understanding of that language, and then from our perspective, how we use that language as a weapon against the insurance company to support your disability.
So, overall, I want to encourage people, they can reach out to you, me, any of our disability lawyers. We help claimants all over the country. We're always available to offer a free initial consultation. We have, obviously you're watching this YouTube video, we have a channel that we highly encourage you subscribe to, because we're always putting out these videos on a regular basis to continue to educate people, because we want to see people continue to get paid their benefits that they're owed. And we have a lot of people who follow us for years and years and years because they're struggling with a chronic medical condition and don't know two things. One, if they're going to have to file, and the other people are on claim and they're like, if I ever get denied, I want this law firm to help me. And the best way to keep in touch, we find, because there's tons of emails and texts and things like that, is subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch our videos. Some will be great for you. Some you may not find relevant, and that's okay. Ask us questions. We're here for you and available, so we look forward to speaking to you should you need us, and thank you for watching this video.